Thank you very much. Senator Gillibrand, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Nakasone, it's great to see you, and I just want to give my gratitude to all three witnesses today for their extraordinary service, especially General Clark on your retirement. You've really been a bright light for many, many years, and we're grateful for everything you've done. General Nakasone, I've advocated for the need for a National Cyber and Digital Services Academy, which was consistent with the recommendations of the AI Commission to train the next generation of the civilian cyber workforce. This would serve as a complement to existing fellowship and scholarship programs. Looking forward, what are the key competencies that these pipelines should be developing? And second, and related, DHS is still in the pilot phase of their new DHS cybersecurity talent management system, where they seek to more quickly onboard 150 new cyber personnel outside of the traditional OPM process. Are there any early lessons that can be learned from this and helpful to the DoD in increasing civilian hiring?
So, Senator, I think the first lesson that we have to is we need the largest pool as possible. This is a critical piece of what our nation's going to do in the future. Cyberspace is where our nation stores its wealth and its treasure. And so as we take a look at that, being able to attract from broad ranges of our society that traditionally perhaps have not touched science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is an important first step. Secondly is focusing on some of the key competitive advantages our nation is going to need for the future. Data science, coding, artificial intelligence, machine learning, all of these are capacities that our nation's going to need well into the future. And the third piece, I think, is just the ability to attract and to focus on the mission of what really gets done here. This is what we've learned at the National Security Agency and Cyber Command is it's the mission that attracts people to work in this field. Thank you.
Do you have any particular views on the development of the National Cyber and Digital Services Academy?
Senator, if I might, let me take that for the record just so I give a more fulsome answer.
I appreciate that. How many personnel are detailed to domestic agencies such as DHS to help protect domestic critical infrastructure? The 2018 MOU authorized 50 detailees. In 2020, DoD scaled it down to about 20, and as of last year, OIG report had only 10 filled. Obviously, we are trying to position ourselves to defend against any oncoming Russian cyber attacks, especially to the civilian sector. And as you know, about 80% of our cyber networks are civilian-owned and operated. So I'd like to know what your perspective is on this and how we can create better collaboration so that not only can DoD resources through the National Guard, but certainly NSA and other cyber security forces can be supportive of what we do to create cyber defense domestically.
Senator, what we have done, we began not only with the ability, as this committee has allowed us to generate up to 50 personnel, but I think the first thing that we wanted to do was make sure that we exchange liaison officers, which has been done now between ourselves and CISA. The second piece is focusing a part of my force on direct support to CISA. This is a discussion that Director Easterly and I have had. It's also the ability for us to look at and say, what are the areas that perhaps are unique for our force that might be available to CISA and the nation in the future. And the third piece is working very closely to better understand what are the competitive advantages that we might bring from U.S. Cyber Command to what is necessary for the defense of the critical infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, General. And I'd like to work with you on creating a more formalized relationship between you and CISA for the future, because I know that the jointness efforts in New York City are among the best in the country. Currently, in our cyber protection with both assets from National Guard, NSA, NYPD, and FBI, we are collaborating now with over 50 entities that are deemed critical infrastructure, major banks, major supply chain, major energy, major water, and that is working extremely well. So also for the record, I'd be grateful for any thoughts you have on that collaboration, making sure it can become more robust and more formalized. I'd like your thoughts, if you have any today, but also for the record.
Let me take that for the record, Senator. I did have the opportunity yesterday to speak with Director Easterly. We're we were actually in the same location and had an opportunity to just go over some of these topics. So that'll be a apropos time.
Thank you, General. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Gillibrand. Senator Fisher, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Clark, Special Operations Forces have an indispensable and outsized role in counterterrorism operations. Would you agree that without sustained CT pressure, terrorist groups